Hey, welcome to Home Help. I'm Brian. Today we're going to have a brief talk about sealed attics. Basically, what that is just an attic. Instead of insulation on the ceiling above the second floor or main floor, they have spray foam applied to the roof deck throughout this attic, making it what we would commonly refer to as a sealed attic. Now, this has obvious benefits in terms of its insulation value. It's going to probably be more efficient because, as you can see right behind me, is the HVAC unit. All the ductwork will be in under the insulation. So think of it in the extreme wintertime, it could be 15 degrees in this attic, and that ductwork will be in 15 degrees, and therefore that's pushing on the outside of the ductwork while you're trying to blow heat through the inside. So you can see where you could lose some temperature on that ductwork if it was in a conventionally insulated attic. So a sealed attic from the roof deck down does create a better environment for that, but there are some obvious disadvantages, and let's talk about those today. Number one being that you cannot see your roof deck. As you can tell, it is completely covered with spray foam insulation. There is no way to pinpoint any defects like a leak, or some other, maybe a framing defect or something like that. So leaks oftentimes will show up in a spot where it's not the actual start of the leak. So it may start up high and then run down somewhere and then come through the insulation 10 feet from where it started. So that's one huge disadvantage of a, quote, sealed attic, is that you can't find leaks or pinpoint them very well until it's too late. And sometimes that decking is rotted out well before you find out that it's actually leaking or find the location of that leak. Another disadvantage of a sealed attic is, keep in mind, most resources that are out there kind of refer to the attic in a sealed attic as a sealed conditioned attic. So that means that there does need to be a conditioned air source or vent in this attic to equalize the attic from the floor below. Even though there's no insulation in the ceiling because it's all up here, there does need to be some sort of ventilation up here because it's an enclosed space. So you can tell I'm already sweating, and it's like 80 degrees outside today. It was a mild morning at maybe 50 degrees start. Now it's about 3 o'clock and it's about 80 degrees. And the temperatures are starting to climb up here in this attic, even though just below the ceiling, the drywall, it's nice and comfy at about 70 degrees. So there's got to be vents installed, and so many builders do not do that. They don't read through these materials that are on hand to let you know that you have to put vents up here as well. One, at least one, preferably two, and maybe more depending on the size of the attic. So there are some obvious, I guess there's some obvious things that aren't great about a sealed attic. And number one being you can't directly spot leaks immediately. Number two could be some framing defects or other issues with the deck or shingles or venting. And that's one thing we didn't talk about, is venting. So most conventional attics have well-defined vents, whether they're static vents or ridge vents. On a home, you'll see soffit vents under your gutters. Those are designed to keep those attic temperatures manageable in the summertime at around 120 or certainly less than 130 degrees. That allows air to come into that attic and cool it down. In this particular style, we don't know what's between that foam insulation and the shingles. Sometimes you'll see that they recommend that baffles be run underneath that foam from the gutter up to the ridge to allow at least that roof surface to cool. And that's the other thing too, is your shingles, if they're no way to cool down, they can literally overheat and bake on top of your roof in the summertime, and that causes the granules to come off a lot quicker, therefore the roof life to be shorter if it's not properly ventilated. I see that a lot of times in attics that are conventionally insulated that just have poor ventilation of 135 degrees plus. And that will cause that roof to deteriorate rather quickly. So insulation is good in a lot of ways. The spray foam is great for efficiency, but it needs to be ventilated in this attic. We don't know for sure what type of ventilation was for the shingle surface. And also it covers a lot for leaks. So those are some things to think about if you're thinking about a sealed attic. Weigh out those pros and cons, and let me know what you think. Thanks for watching Home Help. Sure appreciate you. Have a great day. Bye.